Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, A Pop of Culture. I am your host, the Esoteric and Facetious, no relation, and I talk about subjects that I'm passionate about and that y'all are passionate about relating to social justice, human nature, and pop culture from a Black, bisexual, millennial perspective. Everything, and I mean everything, I say should be taken with a grain of salt, as I'm simply a college student who loves thinking critically and speaking on topics I'm passionate about. However, with that being said, my youth shouldn't be your sole reason to critique my views unless it's truly relevant. If you want to debate any points I make, let's have a civil conversation. With that being said, this is going to be the 10th video essay podcast on this channel, so definitely feel free to watch my first 9 uploads. I talk on a lot of things: the impact of celebrity death, where we go when we die, if religion and quarantine should mix, so many things. So definitely feel free to check out all my previous episodes. They will be linked in the cards and in the end screen at the end of this video, a playlist called Binge All My Video Essay Podcast, and it'll also be in the playlist section of my channel. Just so y'all know, I also have a cover channel. I'm passionate about singing. I love singing. So I'm doing a cover channel to document my growth and to put my name out there. So if you're into throwback R&B, contemporary R&B, pop music, whatever I'm feeling, whatever y'all are feeling, definitely feel free to check that out. I'll also leave a link in the cards, and it's also in the description and will be in the channel section of this channel. And last but not least, feel free to follow me on Instagram at apopofculturepod, Twitter at _popofculture, and TikTok at apopofculturesings. With all that being said, let's get into the video. Today's video is going to be about how toxic positivity and a gratitude list actually made me feel worse about myself, made me feel horrible. And I'm going to be talking about how toxic positivity can negatively impact people who just want to make sure that they're grateful for everything they have in their life. So what is toxic positivity? The tab defines toxic positivity as follows. The phrase toxic positivity is the culture of portraying yourself as being happy no matter what. You're basically switched off to anything which might be viewed as negative. It's also the idea of encouraging people to always see the bright side and not open up about anything bad. Now, what is a gratitude journal? A gratitude journal is a diary of things for which one is grateful, of course. Gratitude journals are used by individuals who wish to focus their attention on the positive things in their lives. Gratitude, the feeling of appreciation or thanks, has gained a lot of attention in the field of positive psychology. So how did toxic positivity in a gratitude journal lead me wrong? If you want a 2-word answer, dead children. I'll elaborate. If you don't know me, I'm somebody who definitely has a lot of interest. I'm definitely someone who is interested in true crime. I'm definitely someone who has a morbid curiosity, and with the internet and insomnia, if you have a morbid curiosity and an interest in true crime, at the wee hours of the night when you can't fall to sleep, there's no limit to the things you'll see online. Though hearing cases of brutal and heinous murder were always unsettling, some of the most unsettling cases were those who happened to children. I remember hearing the tragic stories of 𝘎𝙤𝙬 Ramsey, who was murdered at age 6, 𝑾𝒂𝒕𝒄𝒉 McKinney, who was a 3-year-old from Alabama who was found dead in a dumpster after she was kidnapped from a birthday party, was given methamphetamine and a sedative before she was murdered, according to reports. I thought of Bella and Celeste. I'm not going to say their last name because they were murdered by their father, and I don't want to give him that respect of using his name with their names. They, alongside their pregnant mother, 𝘎𝙤𝙤, who was 34 years old at the time. Bella was 4 and Celeste was 3. Now, this is not just going to turn into a video of me describing the tragic ends of children, teenagers, and young adults, but I just want to paint a picture of what my gratitude list turned into. And there were other parts of my gratitude list where I was happy to have all of my senses, to grow up in a family where I didn't have to worry about where my next meal was coming from, if the lights were going to be on, where I had secure housing, things of that sort. But for one reason or another, the most impactful things that were on the gratitude list were, as I said, the tragic demises of these young people. And it wasn't just people who were tragically murdered. It was also, young people who were at a nearby high school who died in a horrific car crash. Two brothers, may they rest in peace. A boy who, when I was in middle school, he was also in middle school, and he and his stepfather, I believe, drowned in a local lake. A young girl who was a year ahead of me who passed of cancer when we were in middle school. Someone who I wasn't close to, but during high school, she had moved away, and then we actually got news that she had actually gotten hit by a truck. In cases like the Nia Blanchard case, the Alexis Crawford case, the Ruth George case, where there were people who were literally almost, if not around my age, who met tragic ends. So what was so traumatizing about this? When I was trying to do my research and trying to, be more positive, to be more uplifting, to be someone who took appreciation for all the things I had in my life, some of the most compelling messages were those of, as I said, the deceased children, because no matter what's going wrong in my life, I'm alive. I have the chance to make my life better, to change things around, to turn the beat around. 𝑭𝒊𝒓𝒔𝒕. So for me personally, the toxic positivity element came about when I, for whatever reason or another, thought it would be a good idea to create a gratitude list where I featured pictures of these deceased people, these deceased young people, and their names and, their lifespan. And why did I do this? Because for me, I knew that, like I said, no matter what was going on in my life, it was never that bad in comparison to what happened to these people. And I just wanted to make sure that every day I got up, I wanted to realize that things could be so much worse. And I think at first, it was effective because I just thought, and literally I'll read from what I wrote on the list. And, the list goes on, Nigel Shelby, who was a young Black queer man who killed himself. He was in high school and he was experiencing a lot of bullying. May he rest in peace. On my list, we see Caylee Anthony. We see Trayvon Martin. We see Emmett Till. George Stinney Jr., I think that's how you would say it, who was a Black boy who was executed at age 14 for murdering two white girls aged 7 and 11, which there was no evidence for. Cameron Boyce, Talia Castellano, I think that's how you say her name. She was known for her YouTube channel, TaliaJoy18, where she did makeup tutorials. She passed away in 2013 at age 13, and the cause of her death was neuroblastoma. I featured Alana, who, if you don't know, was the niece of Tamara Housley, who we all know from Sister Sister and The Real, who met a tragic end at a shooting at a bar, I believe near her college campus. Of course, Gianna Gigi Bryant, who passed away alongside her father and others this January in a helicopter crash. And I wrote, every time you feel unmotivated / like everything is bad, think of them. And why did this turn into a problem? I very quickly realized that A, it was not my fault that these people met horrific and tragic ends, nor B, was it their fault. And I realized very quickly that while I could be grateful that these horrific things didn't happen to me, I also had to realize and acknowledge that in life, horrific, tragic things do happen. Bad things happen to quote unquote good people, and good things happen to quote unquote bad people. And I had to realize that I can be grateful for the things I have in my life, but unlike what toxic positivity would tell me to do, I can be grateful for the things I have in my life, but being upset at times or unhappy isn't a bad thing. One example that I will give you is when I used to go to church. I am an atheist, but I respect all belief systems as long as no one's getting hurt. And I would always remember the preacher saying something like, someone didn't wake up this morning. And for me, I feel like that would always kind of make me uncomfortable because, yes, someone didn't wake up this morning. And yes, we should be grateful that we woke up to see another day, as tomorrow is not promised. But at the same time, I didn't go to bed hoping that anyone didn't wake up, nor is it my fault that they didn't wake up. I think the issue of toxic positivity is this idea that we always have to be grateful. And I think one of the funny things that we have to know is a lot of these motivational speakers, who are traveling around the world, who are, making these books, making these courses, doing all these things. A lot of these people are people who are doing very well financially, who have more than they need. And it's always funny when people who have the most are telling you, be grateful, be appreciative for what you have. Because, like I said, I think it's great to be appreciative of what you have, but I think that sometimes it can also be burdensome and make you feel guilty when you see horrific things that happen to other people, because it is not my fault that these things happened. But when you look at everything through a gratitude lens, though horrific things didn't happen to you, you can kind of have this survivor's guilt sense where, why is it that these things didn't happen to me? Why is it these things had to happen to these other people? They didn't do anything wrong, especially with these children. And I think what I've learned is, in this big, crazy, wild world, there is the potential for a lot of things to happen, good or bad. And some of those things are going to happen, and some of those things are not going to happen. And when those good things do happen, great, wonderful. And when those bad things happen, we mourn those who are lost. We take the time and try to attain the resources that will be needed to recover and to repair ourselves, our minds, all those things. I think the issue that toxic positivity had on me was I felt I always had to be grateful to be alive every second of every day, because somebody didn't have the chance to experience the life I have, the milestones I have accomplished and I'm going to accomplish. No, someone didn't have that chance. But I had to also realize that that's not my fault. And if you're listening, that's not your fault. If you're someone who tries to do good for yourself, for your family, for those you love, I think it's important to, of course, be grateful for what you have, but at the same time, I think it's important to realize that throughout the span of your life, you're not always going to be happy, and that's not a bad thing. We as humans have a range of emotions that we experience. Even if you look at some videos of dogs and cats online who have lost their owners, you can kind of see that they look to be depressed, they look to be sad, they look to not be as happy as they would have been with the owner. And if animals can experience sadness at times, we as humans definitely should. So that's all I have to say. Though it is tragic that these people pass in the way they did, and that more people are going to pass in this way prematurely, those of us who don't have these horrific things happen to us, all we can do is mourn those who are lost and try to do what we can to help to make laws, rules, barriers, things that will catch some of these people who do this harm, so that they can not hurt people and take people's life away. Thanks so much for listening to yet another episode of A Pop of Culture. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I think we have to remember, and I'm no mental health professional, but I think we do have to remember that we as humans are going to experience more emotions than being happy and being really happy. And I think we have to learn as people to experience that range of emotions in a healthy and productive manner. Thanks so much for listening to yet another episode of A Pop of Culture. And if you enjoyed what I said, if you identified with what I said, then definitely like, comment, subscribe, and share. And also make sure to hit that bell if you choose to subscribe so you know each time that I upload new content. If, like I said, if you want to stay up to date with the show, definitely feel free to follow me on Instagram at apopofculturepod, Twitter at @_popofculture, TikTok at apopofculturesings. And yep, thanks for watching. If you are enjoying yourself, if you're having a good time, and why wouldn't you be having a good time, then feel free to look to your left. There is a playlist of all my video essay podcasts, so you can feel free to check those out, binge watch them, see what you like. In the center is a button to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed yet, and to the right is a playlist of all of my covers, so you can catch up on those, binge watch those. Yep, thanks so much for watching. And if you want to support this show, feel free to do so. I have my Cash App link below, and if you choose to give a donation and support the show, you will be featured in the credits of all of my YouTube videos. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye. Love y'all.